Penguin Swarm 3036979943. Through time and space, he became the disciple of Yun Yun and the senior brother of Nalan Yanran. He developed feelings for Nalan Yanran and made a lifelong commitment. Just as Chenfeng was pondering how to deal with Xiao Yan, the son of this plane. The system has been activated. Multi-child multi-blessing system. For every additional offspring, he will receive a reward. Ding, congratulations to the host, reward the heavenly level technique. Ding, congratulations to the host, reward the heavenly level fighting technique. Ding, congratulations to the host, reward extraordinary physique. Ding, congratulations to the host. Reward the duty origin. In order to become stronger, in order to become the legendary duty powerhouse. Chenfeng resolutely decided to create the strongest family with many sons and blessings. Keywords of the novel. Do pa. Duo z duo fu, I create the strongest family without a pop-up window. Do pa. Duo z duo fu, I create the strongest family. Download the complete TXT collection. Do pa. Duo z duo fu, I create the strongest family. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Many children, many blessings, target Nalan Yanran. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Many children, many blessings, target Nalan Yanran. P.S. The introduction has been blocked, the complete version is here. Introduction. Through time and space, he became the disciple of Yun Yun and the senior brother of Nalan Yanran. He developed feelings for Nalan Yanran and made a lifelong commitment. Just as Chenfeng was pondering how to deal with Xiao Yan, the son of this plane. The system has been activated. Multi-child multi-blessing system. For every additional heir, you will receive a system reward. Ding, congratulations on the birth of the host's first offspring. Reward the super heavenly level skill. Ding, congratulations on the birth of the second offspring of the host, rewarding them with super heavenly level combat skills. Ding, congratulations on the birth of the host's third offspring, rewarding extraordinary physical fitness. Ding, congratulations on the birth of the host's 108th offspring. Reward 1 chaos artifact. Years later, Chenfeng will establish the strongest family in Duki continent on his own. Awakening to the power of the world, lying drunk on the knees of beauty. Main text, the main peak of Yunlan sect is in a quiet courtyard. Ding, it has been detected that there are no offspring under the host's name. Please get married and have children as soon as possible, and spread the branches and leaves. Upon hearing the system prompt in his mind, Chenfeng, who was lying in bed, said impatiently, "Don't rush me, aren't I working hard?" Chenfeng was originally a blue star person. After waking up, he inexplicably came to the world of Do Pa Tsangqiong and became a legitimate descendant of the Mitre family in the imperial capital. Named Maitel Morning Wind. Perhaps due to his identity as a traveler, Chenfeng's soul power is naturally strong. Although he cannot compare to Xiao Yan, his talent is still far superior to his peers. At the age of only 10, he broke through to the 8th stage of Doji Qi. This made him the first genius of the middle family. Later, with the help of the second elder of the Mitre family, who was the grandfather of Chenfeng, Chenfeng was sent to the Holy Land of the Gama Empire for cultivation. That is Yunlan sect. With her outstanding cultivation speed, Chenfeng was quickly spotted by Yun Yun and became the first disciple under her seat to enter the room. Later, at the age of 12, Yun Yun received the second disciple to enter the room. That is, Nalan Yanran in the original work. For his own destiny, Chenfeng also had some emotions. He has read the original work and already has some strange ideas about Yun Yun and Nalan Yanran, the master and disciple. But to my surprise, I have now become a disciple of Yun Yun and the senior brother of Nalan Yanran. It's really unpredictable. The large intestine surrounds the small intestine. The morning breeze looks handsome and has exceptional talent. With such a genius senior brother, Nalan Yanran quickly fell. All day long, following behind the buttocks of Chenfeng, shouting, "Senior brother is long, senior brother is short." Devoted to the morning breeze. And the morning breeze naturally won't resist this beautiful girl's junior sister. In the blink of time, the morning breeze has been worshipping Yun Yun for over 5 years. In a while, it will be his 16-year-old coming of age. Calculating the time, it's not far from Nalan Yanran getting married and withdrawing from the Xiao family. This gradually made Chenfeng feel a bit worried, and he couldn't concentrate on his cultivation. 3 days ago, when I was injured while practicing martial arts, I also became distracted and accidentally injured myself. The 3-year agreement in the original work has been a thorn in Chenfeng's heart until the destruction of Yunlan's sect. Now he is the proud disciple of Yun Yun, and it is highly likely that he will take over as the head of Yunlan's sect in the future. He naturally didn't want to see Yunlanzong destroyed in the hands of Xiao Yan. How can one confront Xiao Yan, the son of the plain, solely on their own? Although Xiao Yan has a fast cultivation speed, he is undoubtedly at a disadvantage with the help of the medicine elder. What should we do then? Do Nalan Yanran's ideological work to prevent her from getting divorced? Just kidding, isn't that a gift for a girl? This is too toxic, isn't it? This is my beloved junior sister. We need to add poo. He won't give it even if he adds money. Even if I die, I won't give it away. Just as the morning breeze was struggling, the 15-year-late golden finger finally arrived in place. As expected, it fulfilled the wise saying of the traveler. Although golden finger may be late, he will never be absent. After learning about the function of the golden finger, Chenfeng was immediately stunned. How could there be such a strange golden finger in the world? His golden finger is called the duozi duofu system. As the name suggests, as long as he has a child, he will receive a system reward. The more children they have, the richer the rewards they receive. This after learning about the effect of the golden finger, the morning breeze immediately numbed. Isn't this treating oneself like a breeding pig? Can giving birth make one stronger? After the shock, the morning breeze quickly accepted. Isn't it just giving birth? Can this stump a man? So, Chenfeng began to think about how to use his golden fingers to become stronger. He is naturally not capable of giving birth alone. But Chenfeng is a beautiful dog, and it's not just about having a child with a woman. Isn't that really becoming a breeding pig? So, Chenfeng set his first goal on his beloved junior sister. After all, 2 people are already interested in each other, making it easier to get things done. Sigh, I hope to successfully win the junior sister today. Morning breeze slowly got up from the bed. He had already suffered a minor injury and had been recuperating for a few days. Now he has fully recovered. But in front of his junior sister Nalan Yanran, he still pretended to be weak. Because only in this way, Nalan Yanran would feel sorry for him and come over every day to take good care of her. Speak of Chow Chow and he will arrive. Chenfeng's gaze suddenly caught sight of a figure in white clothes who came to the yard and quickly lay on the bed, pretending to be weak. With a light sound of footsteps approaching, soon a young girl slowly entered the room of the morning breeze. I saw the young girl wearing a wide-sleeved, tight-fitting, and white robe that swayed the ground. She held it tightly against her willow waist and was tied with a light silver dress belt, perfectly showcasing her slender waist. Occasionally, it highlights the graceful curves beneath it, with hands like soft catkins, skin like condensed fat, eyebrows like cicadas, and a charming smile that exudes a faint and ethereal aura. The girl is very beautiful, with green jade pendants hanging from her delicate earlobes. When she sways slightly, she makes a crisp jade sound, suddenly revealing a touch of delicacy. Senior brother, how are you feeling today? The girl, holding a delicate food box in her hand, approached Chenfeng and asked with concern. This girl is the junior sister of Chenfeng, Nalan Yanran. It's much better now. As the young girl approached, a faint fragrance seeped into the morning breeze's nose, making him unable to resist a hint of strangeness. He absent-mindedly smiled at Nalan Yanran. "Senior brother, today I made your chicken soup for sex, you must drink it all." Nalan Yanran raised the food box in her hand and said playfully. "Okay, drinking chicken soup is often a beautiful thing. I love drinking chicken soup the most. And it's also the chicken soup you made yourself, junior sister. I guarantee not a drop will be wasted." Chenfeng looked at Nalan Yanran and said with some indulgence. As Nalan Yanran opened the food box, a tempting aroma immediately wafted out, making people's fingers twitch. "Senior brother, this chicken soup is the Yunlan Mountain specialty Yunkai chicken that I obtained from Director Yi. I heard he has been raising it for 2.5 years, and its nutritional value is quite high." Nalan Yanran poured out the chicken soup and couldn't help but smile as she thought of Director Ye's painful expression. The morning breeze, smelling the fragrance, had already moved its fingers and praised, "This chicken soup has a strong aroma. It must taste delicious. Your craftsmanship is getting better and better, junior sister." Nalan Yanran felt a bit embarrassed when praised, and her pretty face turned slightly red. She said, "As long as you like it, senior brother, I'll make it for you every day." After finishing speaking, I scooped up a spoonful of chicken soup, gently took a sip, and brought it to Chenfeng's mouth. "Not bad, it's moderately salty and the soup is delicious. This chicken soup is very delicious." Chenfeng took a sip of chicken soup and couldn't help but give a thumbs up, praising it endlessly. P.S. New books for collection. If you have a recommendation vote, please cast a vote. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Captured by Yun Yun, Morning Wind Dies on the Spot. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Captured by Yun Yun, Morning Wind Dies on the Spot. Under the gentle service of Nalan Yanran, the morning breeze finished all the chicken soup and suddenly felt warm. Looking at the junior sister in front of her, who was gently wiping her lips, Chenfeng couldn't help but reach out and grab her delicate jade hand. "Senior brother, what's wrong with you?" Seeing the movements of the morning breeze, Nalan Yan was taken aback and blushed slightly. "Yanran, thanks to you during this time." Chenfeng held Nalan Yanran's soft jade hand and said with a gentle gaze. Facing the deep gaze of Chenfeng, Nalan Yanran suddenly felt a little nervous and whispered, "Senior brother, this is all I should do. What's wrong with senior brother today? How does it feel? A bit strange, Yanran, marry me." Just as Nalan Yanran was feeling suspicious in her heart, Chenfeng directly spoke out what she had prepared for a long time. Since the duozi duofu system has been activated, Chenfeng naturally wants to improve efficiency and quickly give birth to a child. After all, being constantly urged by the system guy makes him feel annoyed. Moreover, the timeline for divorce is not far away. Chenfeng was also anxious in his heart to become stronger. Otherwise, facing Xiao Yan, the son of this plane, he really lacks a sense of security in his heart. Ah! Upon hearing the words of the morning breeze, Nalan Yanran was immediately stunned. "Senior brother, is he proposing to me?" After realizing it, Nalan Yanran suddenly felt a huge sense of happiness rushing in. "I have been in love with my senior brother for many years, and today he finally confessed to me." Nalan Yanran, you have finally successfully captured the heart of your senior brother. Yanran, are you willing to marry me? Seeing Nalan Yanran standing still, Chenfeng couldn't help feeling anxious in her heart. Could it be that I misunderstood? Yanran is not willing to marry herself, just treating herself as a senior brother. However, just as the morning breeze was uneasy in her heart, Nalan Yan blushed and let out a moan like a mosquito rope. Yanran, did you agree? Upon hearing this, the morning breeze was immediately overjoyed, even forgetting that she was still an injured person, and happily climbed up from the bed. Senior brother, your injury. Nalan Yanran looked at the morning breeze standing up in surprise. It's not in the way anymore. Chenfeng shook her head and looked straight at Nalan Yanran. Yanran, do you know? Today is the happiest day of my life. Because my beloved junior sister agreed to marry me. These greasy love words blurted out, and Chenfeng could not help but blush. Nalan Yanran didn't hear such love words, especially since she had long thought of marrying Chenfeng in her heart. She was immediately moved and whispered, "Senior brother, I also feel very happy." The morning breeze smiled slightly, and indeed, my junior sister was the best to win. This wave belongs to a two-way rush. He held Nalan's delicate jade hand in his hand and couldn't help but kiss her directly. Watching the movements of the morning breeze, Nalan Yanran felt even more shy in her heart, but she did not resist, feeling incredibly sweet in her heart. She has long been in love with her senior brother, and being able to marry him is what she dreams of. Today, my senior brother took the initiative to propose to me, which made Nalan Yanran feel that she was the happiest girl in the world. Ah! Suddenly, Nalan Yanran exclaimed in surprise, realizing that at some point, her senior brother had lifted her up in the position of a princess. "Senior brother, what are you doing here?" Nalan Yan instinctively wrapped a pair of delicate jade hands around Chenfeng's neck. "What else can we do? Of course I have to have children with you." Looking at Nalan Yanran with a shy expression on her face, Chenfeng felt a bit amused in her heart. Did this girl appear too weak today? In the past, Nalan Yanran's posture gave the impression of a proud and noble lady from a noble family. But at this moment, in front of the morning breeze, he is as weak as a little white rabbit that he can bully. Seeing Chenfeng walking towards the bed holding her, Nalan Yanran's heart skipped a beat and immediately understood what her senior brother was preparing to do. At this moment, she felt extremely uneasy and shy in her heart, and her ears turned red. The heartbeat has reached its peak. It wasn't until the morning breeze laid Nalan Yanran flat on the soft bed that she regained her senses and whispered, "Senior brother, we haven't gotten married yet. Yanran, let's talk about this later. Don't worry, senior brother will definitely give you a grand wedding." After speaking, Chenfeng bent down and kissed Nalan Yanran. Half an hour later, a woman in white suddenly arrived outside the courtyard of Chenfeng. "I don't know how Feng Er's injury has recovered. These days, because I've been dealing with some trivial matters, I haven't come to see him. Feng Er doesn't have any objections to me in his heart, does he?" The woman in white looked at the quiet courtyard and couldn't help but smile on her stunning face as she thought of her talented disciple. She naturally felt proud to have such a talented disciple. I saw this woman wrapped in a plain dress with a plump and delicate body, with a blue silk tied up into a noble phoenix hair accessory. Her beautiful and charming appearance was calm and tranquil, but it revealed a touch of elegance and nobility that was difficult to conceal in plain clothes. That's right, the woman in white who suddenly arrived outside the courtyard was the current teacher of Chenfeng and the leader of Yunlan sect. Yun. Because of Chenfeng's extraordinary talent, Yun has always favored him greatly. I have already made plans in my heart to pass on the position of Yunlan sect leader to him in the future. Upon learning that Chenfeng had been injured, even though she had been busy lately, she deliberately took the time today to visit him. What sound? When Yun pushed open the courtyard gate, her eyebrows suddenly furrowed slightly. Is it because Feng Er's injury hasn't improved? No, this is the voice of that girl Yanran. Yes, their senior siblings have always had a good relationship. Feng Er got injured this time, and she will definitely come to take care of her. Thinking of this, Yun's face showed a hint of smile and she went to the outside of the morning breeze's room, extending her jade hand and directly pushing open the door. "Feng Er, come and see me as my teacher." Before Yun could speak, her smile froze when she saw the scene in front of her. Old teacher. At the same time, the screams of the morning breeze dying on the spot came from inside the house. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Yun's Wrath. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 3. Yun Yun's Wrath. Rebels, in broad daylight, how could you be so shameless? After a moment, a stern reprimand suddenly rang out in the quiet courtyard. At this moment, Yun Yunduan sat in the pavilion in the yard, glaring angrily at the boy and girl in front of him. But upon closer observation, she found that her face was slightly red, and she looked at Chenfeng and Nalan Yanran kneeling in front of her, her eyes somewhat evasive. At this moment, the morning breeze and Nalan Yanran looked very disheveled. Both of them have disheveled hair and disheveled clothes. Nalan Yanran's face was even more alluring with a hint of redness, her gaze flickering and her expression shy. However, as she looked at the morning breeze beside her, her beautiful eyes were filled with love. I understand my mistake, please forgive me, teacher. Seeing her teacher angry, Chenfeng quickly spoke up. Yun Yun looked at the disciple kneeling in front of her, feeling both angry and shy in her heart. My proud disciple did such an extraordinary thing in broad daylight. What made her even more embarrassed and angry was that she even got caught up in such an ugly situation. Thinking of the unpleasant scene she had seen in the room before, Yun Yun's face was still scorching hot at this moment. It's too embarrassing. Although she was uninformed, she has lived for so many years at least, and she doesn't know what these two disciples were doing just now. Fenger, I asked you to recuperate at home, is that how you recuperated? Yun Yun became more and more angry as she thought, looking at the morning breeze begging for mercy in front of her and angrily scolding. 3 days ago, her proud disciple Chenfeng accidentally got injured while practicing martial arts. She is very concerned about this talented disciple who has entered the room. Let her stay at home to recuperate for a few days, and even took the time today to visit his injuries. Little did I know that as soon as I entered the door, I stumbled upon such an ugly thing. Thinking of the scene that caught my eye earlier, I was immediately stunned by Yun Yun. She, who has not been trained, has never experienced such a battle. After reacting, she was furious and rushed out of the door. Shameless. It's shameless. Looking at Yun Yun with an angry expression in front of her, Chenfeng felt a bit depressed in her heart. What is this horse rider called? The teacher came too late. This system will despise itself and run away directly. Teacher, this is all my disciple's fault. I didn't hold back. I promise, I will never do this again in broad daylight. After a moment of silence, Chenfeng spoke up to admit his mistake. And he took all the blame on himself. Since my junior sister is willing to help me have a child, how can Chenfeng make her feel wronged? Moreover, after following Yun Yun for so many years, Chenfeng also has some understanding of her personality. A person like herself who is brave enough to take responsibility usually gains her favor. Maybe, if you're in a good mood, you'll take it easy on yourself. Sure enough, after hearing the words of the morning breeze, Yun Yun's expression slightly calmed down. However, her expression was somewhat strange as she looked at the morning breeze in front of her. Not doing it in broad daylight. Does it mean we can do it tonight? She doesn't prohibit her disciples from engaging in sexual activities. But they are still so young, can they grasp it? Although Yun Yun is not familiar with human affairs, she still understands some common sense after living for so long. Excessive indulgence among young people is extremely harmful and detrimental to their future development. Yun Yun has long regarded it as a successor to his legacy, and is even more prepared to hand over the entire Yunlan sect to him in the future. Naturally, I don't want to see the morning breeze coming and affecting my future development. She wanted to sternly stop the two, but felt it was a bit inappropriate. Would you mind being too lenient? The relationship between men and women is based on your feelings and wishes. As a teacher myself, it's not easy to get involved too much. Yun Yun's thoughts were naturally unknown to the two young people. Nalan Yanran on the side, after hearing the morning breeze take all the responsibility onto her. In the gaze of the morning breeze, there was even more admiration. Senior brother, it's great to have you. Originally, she regretted being caught by Yun Yun. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have promised my senior brother. But now, she has no regrets in her heart. Even if she chooses again, she will still agree to her senior brother. Even very proactive, agreeing to the excessive request proposed by senior brother earlier. Are your injuries all healed? After a moment of silence, Yun Yun looked at the morning breeze in front of her and asked a faint question. Although she was a bit angry in her heart, Yun Yun still attached great importance to this precious disciple. Otherwise, I wouldn't have personally come over to visit today. Teacher, thanks to my junior sister's careful care, the disciple is almost healed. The morning breeze replied respectfully upon hearing the words. In fact, his injury was not serious and had already healed. On weekdays, Yun Yun is very strict with him and can't spare any time. During these few days of rest, he took the opportunity to take action against Nalan Yanran. Fortunately, I succeeded smoothly and I don't know if my shot is accurate or not. Upon hearing the words of the morning breeze, Yun Yun was taken aback and then turned her gaze to Nalan Yanran beside her. She said with a strange expression in her eyes, Yanran really takes care of you very well. It's all taken care of in bed, can't it be okay? Feeling Yun Yun's gaze, Nalan Yanran felt extremely embarrassed and lowered her head with a shy expression. Although she no longer regrets it, it is indeed very embarrassing. At the end of the day, she is just a young girl with thin skin. The first time I did that, I was caught straight by my own teacher. Who else would be embarrassed if this were to happen to? Since your body is well, I will continue to come to the back mountain for cultivation tomorrow. You have been practicing Thunderbolt Spear for some time now, and I will test you well tomorrow. After hesitating for a moment, Yun Yun ultimately did not pursue the two too much. It's normal for young people to make some mistakes. Understood. These two are both my beloved disciples. What else can we do? Of course, I chose to forgive them. If I push myself too hard, my dear disciple will not be able to bear it. Don't worry, teacher. My disciple has been practicing Thunderbolt Spear for many days without any slack, and the power of the spear is even stronger than before. Upon hearing Yun Yun shift the topic, Chenfeng felt relieved in her heart. If the other party continues to ask, even his thick-skinned face will feel awkward. Upon hearing this, Yun Yun nodded in satisfaction. A month later, there will be an internal competition. I hope you can focus on practicing your marksmanship and strive to win first place. Yanran, you are the same. It's better for you two to meet less during this period to avoid being distracted. Yun Yun looked at the two and said a meaningful sentence. The two of them couldn't hear anything out of Yun Yun's words. Chenfeng had thick skin, not a red face, and nodded without a beat in his heart. Meanwhile, Nalan Yanran blushed with embarrassment and dared not look up. Please rest assured, teacher. With my disciple's marksmanship, I will never disappoint the teacher. For this big competition, Chenfeng is still very confident. Although my talent is not prominent in the entire Duki continent. But in the small Yunlan sect, the morning breeze usually puts both hands in his pockets, posing invincible. Okay, if you can win first place, you can make a request to me, and I will try my best to meet you. Looking at the confident morning breeze emanating from all over, Yun Yun nodded in satisfaction. She is quite satisfied with the abilities of this proud disciple. Over the years, he has never let himself down. Upon hearing this, Chenfeng looked up at Yun Yun and muttered to himself, "Can you help me have a child, teacher?" After activating the Duozi Duofu system, now Chenfeng's mind is full of giving birth. His own teacher is so beautiful and still single, so he inevitably has some dirty thoughts in his heart. Of course, he dare not say these words. Otherwise, even if Yun Yun values him again, he will be expelled from the school as a rebellious disciple. Thank you, teacher, disciple. Chenfeng suppressed his thoughts and made a respectful gesture. You two take it easy. Yun nodded and glanced at the two of them before slowly getting up and preparing to leave. Just as she walked out of the pavilion, she suddenly turned around and frowned slightly, looking at Nalan Yanran. Yanran, I remember, you still have an engagement, right? Nalan Yanran watched as Yun left, feeling relieved in her heart. Upon hearing these words, her face immediately turned pale, and her eyes looked a bit flustered at the morning breeze beside her. A gentle smile appeared on Chenfeng's face and he shook his head slightly. Nalan Yanran knew about her engagement with Xiao Yan long ago, so there shouldn't be any unexpected events. Nalan Yanran breathed a sigh of relief and whispered, "Yes, teacher. Since you and your senior brother are compatible, we will withdraw this marriage as soon as possible. At that time, I will personally hold the wedding for you." Yun had long known about Nalan Yanran's marriage. After learning that her precious disciple's fiancé was a useless material, Yun originally wanted to give up. I just hesitated for fear of affecting the reputation of Yunlan's sect. But today these two have already done such an ugly thing, it seems that this engagement cannot be abandoned. Thank you, teacher, disciple. Upon hearing Yun's words, Nalan Yan was immediately overjoyed. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. I'm going to be a father. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. I'm going to be a father. Senior brother, I'm sorry. After Yun left, Nalan Yanran lowered her head and looked apologetically at the morning breeze. It seems like I made some big mistake. Within less than half a year of serving under Yun's sect, she secretly fell in love with her senior brother. She swore from the bottom of her heart that she would never marry unless she was a senior brother. But the engagement on her body made her feel a headache. Compared to his talented and handsome senior brother, my useless fiancé is like a pile of feces. A woman would always choose a good-looking and talented senior brother. Nalan Yanran is no exception. In order to obtain her senior brother, Nalan Yanran never dared to reveal that she still had an engagement. What if senior brother cares? I was planning to discuss with the teacher and secretly withdraw this marriage. It's all done in one go. Unexpectedly, today the teacher brought up this marriage in front of his senior brother. Fortunately, it seems that senior brother doesn't mind. Senior brother, that's great. It's okay, it's not your fault. Looking at Nalan Yanran with low eyebrows and pleasing eyes, Chenfeng didn't care. This is indeed not attributable to Nalan Yanran. If you want to blame it, you also have to blame the old man of the Nalan family for making such a fuss about marriage. Besides, if he cares, how could he agree to the other party's pursuit? Isn't it just a wedding engagement? What's the big deal? Even if they are already married, the morning breeze will not mind. First of all, he doesn't want to be a bandit. You are willing, everyone is just taking what they need. Senior brother, don't worry, I will divorce him as soon as possible. Seeing that Chenfeng really didn't mind, Nalan Yanran felt relieved in her heart and then made a promise to Chenfeng, afraid that Chenfeng might have any objections to her because of this matter. Upon hearing this, the morning breeze pondered for a moment and said, "Let me handle the matter of getting married. As a girl like you, I don't feel at ease about getting married." In the original work, Nalan Yanran's way of getting married was too flamboyant. This attracted a large amount of hatred points from Xiao Yan. For Xiao Yan, the son of Qi Luck, Chenfeng actually doesn't really want to provoke him. Even though he now has a system, Xiao Yan is still the son of the plain, and he still needs some respect. Moreover, both of them are travelers, so they can also be called fellow villagers. In this situation, Chenfeng felt that he should try his best to avoid offending Xiao Yan. He has a multi-child and multi-blessing system, and in the future, he only needs to have children to become stronger, without any conflict with Xiao Yan. If you engage with him, it will only affect your own development. But now that I have taken the other party's fiancé, it is really difficult not to offend Xiao Yan. Chenfeng can only take some gentle ways to get out of marriage, trying to attract as little hatred as possible. Therefore, he decided to replace Nalan Yanran and go to the Xiao family in Wutan City to withdraw his marriage. Although he cannot guarantee that he will not attract the opponent's hatred value, at least he will not reach a height of 3-year agreement or annihilation of the sect. Seeing Chenfeng so worried about herself, Nalan Yanran felt incredibly happy. Senior brother treated her too well. However, she was a little worried in her heart. Senior brother, what if that guy doesn't want to withdraw? It's okay, I'll take action then. Chenfeng smiled slightly and comforted, just wait for my good news with peace of mind. Well, senior brother, you're so kind. Looking at the gentle morning breeze in front of her, Nalan Yanran felt extremely lucky to have such an excellent and considerate man as her senior brother. Nalan Yanran's face was moved, and she immediately snuggled up in the embrace of the morning breeze. Junior sister, now that you have become my woman, your affairs naturally belong to me. Chenfeng hugged Nalan Yanran's small waist with a hint of domineering tone. Don't worry, no matter what happens in the future, no matter when. I will always stand behind you, push you and support you. At this moment, Nalan Yanran only felt herself wandering in the ocean of love, wrapped in happiness all over her body. Senior brother, love me again. The next day. Early in the morning, Chenfeng reluctantly crawled out of Nalan Yanran's bed. Yun has always had strict requirements, and if she goes late, she may face criticism again. After arriving at the back mountain, he directly entered a small forest. Sure enough, Yun had already been waiting inside. Teacher. The morning breeze arrived in front of Yun and respectfully called out. Yun is still dressed in white clothes and skirts, with 3,000 green threads, tied up into the shape of a phoenix singing long. It vaguely reveals an indescribable nobility, with a peaceful and beautiful appearance, like a clear spring in a secluded mountain. It makes people feel revered for their noble status, but at the same time, they cannot help but feel a hint of charm. The teacher is really becoming more and more attractive. Such a stunning cloud charm naturally made the morning breeze a bit uncontrollable, and I secretly praised it in my heart. Yun glanced lightly at the morning breeze and said, let's start. Yes, teacher. With a thought in his heart, Chenfeng took out a long spear from his ring and began to dance in front of Yun. He cultivates advanced combat skills, such as the thunderbolt spear technique, at the Xian level. I saw the long spear transform into illusions in the hands of the morning breeze, as fast as lightning, with a crackling sound. Puff. 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 The speed was so fast that it produced an explosive sound. The next moment, Chenfeng's gaze turned to a blooming flower in the forest and suddenly swung his spear to stab it. The long spear in Chenfeng's hand pierced through the flower like a long dragon, and was immediately pulled out. As the spear was pulled back, droplets of fragrant flower juice splashed out. The red petals opened, leaving a huge gap in the middle that softened and could not be closed for a long time. Please provide guidance, teacher. After a moment, Chenfeng stopped dancing his big gun and bent over to Yun. Not bad, your marksmanship has indeed improved a lot compared to last time. After showcasing the morning breeze, Yun was clearly very satisfied. Although the weapon she used was not a gun, as a powerful fighter for the Emperor, her vision was here, so it was not difficult to guide a 9-star fighter. After a few simple praises, Yun let out the morning breeze and left the back mountain. In a blink of time, it was 3 days later. Perhaps it was Yun's words last time that had an effect. In order to influence Chenfeng's cultivation, Nalan Yanran has not come to find Chenfeng for the past 3 days. This makes the morning breeze, which has just tasted the sweetness, somewhat irresistible. However, Nalan Yanran lives in the female disciple area, so it's not easy for him to find her openly. Let's practice marksmanship. Helpless, Chenfeng took out his spear and prepared to practice thunderbolt spear to distract himself. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully getting Nalan Yanran pregnant and receiving a system gift package. Ding, considering this is the first time the host has made a woman pregnant, the reward is now doubled to receive a super large gift package. Please continue to work hard, host. At this moment, a series of system prompts suddenly rang out in his mind. A normal pregnancy takes half a month, but this is a fantasy world. It's normal to hurry up, isn't it? Although it is difficult to detect, the system can directly achieve this. I won the bid. Upon hearing the system's prompt sound, Chenfeng froze for a moment before realizing it, with an excited expression on his face. I'm going to be a father now. The morning breeze was incredibly surprised, and I didn't expect that after just working all night, I really succeeded. In order to make Nalan Yanran pregnant, the morning breeze put all her energy into breastfeeding that night. Fortunately, all the efforts have paid off. Chenfeng sighed and then focused on the system rewards. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Super Gift Package. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Super Gift Package. System. Open the super large gift package. Thinking of the system's reward this time, Chenfeng silently thought to herself. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a 9-star Dozong experience card. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the heavenly level advanced skill, swallowing yuan decision. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Chenfeng treasure box. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the dragon elephant body. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a junior puppet Dan. As the morning breeze fell, a series of system prompts rang out in his mind. The morning breeze couldn't help but swallow its saliva. Unexpectedly, this super big gift bag is so awesome. The above items have been distributed to the system space, please collect them by the host. The system prompt sounds again. Heavenly level cultivation method. 9-star Dozong experience card. Chenfeng suppressed the excitement in his heart, took a deep breath, and forced himself to calm down. Subsequently, he immersed himself in the system space and began to check the specific information of these rewards. 9-star Dozong experience card. After use, it allows the host to have a brief 9-star Dozong strength, lasting for 1 incense stick. Swallowing the yuan technique. A high-level skill in the heavenly level that can devour all energy bodies in the world and improve one's own cultivation. Chenfeng treasure box. Contains a small world that can autonomously absorb external energy to fill. Dragon elephant body. Natural divine power. Practicing the forging technique can stimulate the power of the dragon elephant, with long-lasting power and extremely terrifying recovery speed. Junior puppet pill. Creatures below the Dozong realm who take this pill will unconditionally obey their host and have original memories. Really? Perverted. After reading the information about these rewards, Chenfeng was only shocked in his heart. This system is really awesome. System, extract the swallowing yuan technique. Then, the morning breeze silently recited in her heart. At the next moment, a frenzy of information surged in, giving him no chance to react and forcefully thrusting into his brain, rapidly twitching. Hush. Chenfeng couldn't help but take a cold breath and quickly stabilized his mind, receiving all the information in his mind. After a moment, Chenfeng finally finished laughing at this information. The swallowing yuan technique can devour any energy body to improve one's cultivation. This energy body can be heaven and earth energy, magic core, elixir, spiritual medicine. After learning the news of the swallowing yuan technique, Chenfeng's face showed a hint of shock. Too strong. Undoubtedly, it is a heavenly level advanced skill. It has to be said that relying solely on this skill of swallowing yuan can help Chenfeng become an unparalleled powerhouse. After truly understanding the function of the swallowing yuan technique, Chenfeng's heart was even more shocked. You should know that the most essential thing in this world is the energy body. In more detail, even the combat skills released and the strange fires between heaven and earth belong to the energy body. And these, as long as the morning breeze cultivates the swallowing yuan technique to a certain level, it can still be absorbed and transformed into one's own cultivation. This is just my first pregnancy. If I wait for my first child to be born, wouldn't the rewards given by the system be even more outrageous? Tasting the sweetness, at this moment, Chenfeng was eagerly anticipating it. Extract the body of the dragon and elephant. Afterward, Chenfeng continued to silently recite in his heart. In an instant, a violent force erupted within him, sweeping his entire body in an instant. If the previous swallowing element technique was applied to the soul, then the current dragon-elephant body is an ultimate transformation of the morning wind body. Under this force, he felt that everything in his physical body, including the skin, muscles, flesh, and even every cell, was undergoing transformation and strengthening. Ah! At this moment, Chenfeng felt his body being forcefully torn apart by a force, and then began to reassemble until it was in perfect condition. Pain, it hurts too much. The huge pain almost made Chenfeng faint, but strangely, Chenfeng remained awake and felt the changes in his body clearly. Fortunately, the physical changes did not last too long. After the power in his body dissipated, the morning breeze was already sweating profusely, as if he had been doing high-intensity exercise with Nalan Yanran all night that day. Despite this, the morning breeze at this moment is not at all tired, and even feels that he can continue to fight against Nalan Yanran for dozens of rounds. Chenfeng clenched his fists and could clearly feel a terrifying force in his body. He has confidence that he can defeat his previous self solely through physical strength. The body of the dragon and elephant is indeed very strong. Moreover, I have only recently awakened the body of the dragon and elephant. In the future, if we obtain the forging technique, we can further develop it and fully unleash the potential of the dragon-elephant body. At that time, he will possess true power of dragons and elephants. With just one physical punch, one can break mountains and rocks, shatter the void. My current physical body is even more terrifying than the body of Warcraft. Feeling the power of my physical body at this moment, the morning wind was amazed. Compared to Warcraft, humans are naturally weaker, but the morning breeze that awakens the dragon-elephant body can crush the body of Warcraft. Subsequently, Chenfeng bent down and did 1,000 push-ups in one breath without any breathing. This endurance is truly extraordinary. I don't know what was on my mind, but Chenfeng suddenly chuckled and looked a bit lewd. Extract the Qianquan treasure box. Subsequently, Chenfeng continued to silently recite in his heart. As a brilliant purple light flashed, a purple box appeared in the hand of Chenfeng, engraved with ancient patterns. Ding, please have the host perform a blood drip to identify the host. As the purple box appeared, a system prompt sound suddenly rang in his mind. Dropping blood to recognize the owner. It looks quite high-end. Chenfeng was stunned for a moment, then bit his finger and squeezed out a drop of blood to drop onto the purple treasure box. Shwa! After absorbing the blood of the morning breeze, the purple box turned into a purple light and penetrated into his hand. Morning Wind fixed his gaze and saw that the purple box had disappeared, but his palm had a mini version of the purple tattoo, which was exactly the shape of the purple box just now. At the same time, a message flooded into his mind and was quickly received by him. Subsequently, Chenfeng's mind moved and her body disappeared directly into the room. When the morning breeze regained its view, it was discovered that what was in front of it had completely changed. What caught the eye was a square-sized space, shrouded in a gray mist. Is this the inner small world of the Qianquan treasure box? The morning breeze surveyed the space in front of me, revealing a look of surprise. Space items are also available on Duki continent, such as the Na ring in his hand. However, the Na ring has a major drawback, which is that it cannot hold live objects. The small world carried by the Qianquan treasure box can be filled with living creatures, and even humans can survive inside. Even the morning breeze can clearly feel that as it drips blood to recognize its master, this small world is absorbing energy from the outside world independently. In no time, this small world will also be filled with the energy of heaven and earth. Even if you practice hiding here, it is completely achievable. End of this chapter. Chapter 6 Morning Breeze. I just want to give them a home. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Morning Breeze. I just want to give them a home. Looking at the small world in front of me, which is the size of a square, the morning breeze is very satisfied. This place is very suitable for hiding coquettishness in a golden house. Moreover, it's the kind that nobody knows. For this Chenfeng treasure box, Chenfeng had an idea in his heart. He wants to turn this place into his secret base. In case of danger, the morning breeze can also enter this Chenfeng treasure box to avoid. The enemy cannot be found at all. And such a large space can store a lot of things. It can be said to be infinitely useful. The next moment, Chenfeng's mind moved and he left the small world directly, appearing again in the room, still in the place where he had disappeared before. It seems that once I enter the Chenfeng treasure box, I will remain in my original fixed position when I appear again, said Chenfeng with a hint of enlightenment in his eyes. System, extract puppet pills. Then, Chenfeng thought of the remaining system rewards and silently thought to himself. There was a wave in the void, and then a black pill appeared in the palm of the morning wind. Can this small pill control any creature below the Dozong realm and be completely used by me? Looking at the puppet pill in his hand, the morning breeze was amazed. The things rewarded by this system are indeed exquisite. If this puppet pill is well utilized, then Chenfeng's subordinates will have an additional subordinate in the Dohuang realm. The realm of Emperor Do can almost be traversed horizontally throughout the entire Gamma Empire. And this puppet pill can make a powerful Dohuang completely under the control of the morning wind. Even 7th grade pills cannot achieve such an effect, right? However, Chenfeng has read the original work and has never seen a similar pill. The puppet pill rewarded by the system should not have come from Duki continent. Otherwise, such a strange and magical pill should not be from an unknown place. Chenfeng found an exquisite jade bottle, slowly filled it with the puppet pill, and then threw it into the small world inside the Chenfeng treasure box. This puppet pill can control the Emperor Do, so he naturally won't use it. If it's used to control some cats and dogs, it's not cost-effective. System, extract the 9-star Dozong experience card. Finally, Chenfeng thought of the experience card in this reward and silently thought to herself. The next moment, a golden card floated in the void before his eyes. Chenfeng reached out and held the golden card in his hand. Can this card give me the power of the 9-star Do sect for a short period of time? Although Chenfeng may find it hard to believe, this is a reward from the system. How did you say that? A system-produced product must be a masterpiece. The system is omnipotent. Therefore, since the system claims that this golden card has such an effect, there must be no mistake. Since it is a disposable consumable, it must be used in critical areas. With a thought in her heart, Chenfeng threw the golden card directly into the small world. He had already decided in his heart that he would never use this trump card until he died. At this point, all the super gift package morning wind has been collected. For the reward of this system, Chenfeng is still very satisfied in his heart. The swallowing heaven technique can quickly improve one's cultivation. The 9-star Dozong experience card and Chenfeng treasure box provide you with the ability to save your life. The body of the dragon and elephant provides powerful capital for many sons and blessings. The puppet pill, on the other hand, allows Chenfeng to have his own power. It has to be said that these treasures are all very good. Taking any item out can cause a huge uproar. And these are just the rewards that Nalan Yanran received when the morning breeze made her pregnant. Such a generous reward really drives me crazy. Chenfeng looked forward to the second reward in his heart. However, until now, he has not yet found a second suitable candidate in his mind. Suddenly, Yun Yun's stunning face flashed through his mind. If the teacher know, that's my beloved teacher. How could I think so? Pop. The morning breeze slapped me hard, stopping me from daydreaming. If the teacher is not good, then only Sister Yafei will be available. A seductive face suddenly flashed through Chenfeng's mind. Yafei, the granddaughter of Middletongshan, the head of the Mittelian family. Coming from the same family as Chenfeng. Chenfeng is the grandson of the second elder of the Meitel family, with exceptional talent and a high status in the Meitel family. Since childhood, Chenfeng has often played with Princess Yafei. The two are childhood sweethearts. In addition, Chenfeng is exceptionally handsome and talented, and Princess Yafei has a hidden affection for him. However, 3 years ago, she was transferred to the remote city of Yutun in the empire to operate a branch of the Meitel auction house. Chenfeng remembers that before leaving, Princess Yafei personally went to Yunlan's sect to meet her. Brother Feng, remember to wait for my sister to come back. When you were a child, you promised to marry me. A man should keep his word. When Princess Yafei left, she had a charming expression on her face and was still deeply impressed by what she said to the morning breeze. It has been 3 years since Princess Yafei went to Wutan City, and I don't know how she's doing. The seductive face of Princess Yafei flashed through her mind, and Chenfeng gradually had thoughts in her heart. If the duozi duofu system had not been activated, Chenfeng might not have any thoughts on Princess Yafei. After all, his abilities are limited, no matter how many beautiful women he has, he won't be able to keep them. But now it's different. He has activated the golden finger. From the super gift package just now, it seems that this system is very powerful. Can quickly enhance the strength of Chenfeng. This naturally gave Chenfeng a sense of confidence in his heart. Moreover, in order to maximize the utilization of this multi-child multi-blessing system, he must have many women. While embracing beautiful women, one can also enhance their own strength. Which man doesn't want such a good thing? Through a journey, the morning breeze naturally has its own second dream. Awakening to control the world, lying drunk on the knees of a beautiful woman. It is undeniable that this is what every man dreams of. Of course, there are also some pure and loyal good men in this world who are consistent and unwavering. But unfortunately, Chenfeng never felt like such a good man. At first, without confidence, the morning breeze could only silence the wild hope in my heart. Now with the system, as long as he works hard, he can definitely achieve this great dream. I'm not just being a playboy, I just want to give beautiful women around the world a warm home. Chenfeng silently recited in her heart, trying to deceive herself. It seems that when I go to Wutan City to withdraw my marriage in a while, I will go and see this Lady Yafei. Not seen in 3 years, I wonder if this childhood sweetheart has changed her mind. Thinking of what Princess Yafei had said to her before leaving, a faint smile slowly appeared at the corner of Chenfeng's mouth. As a man, I will fulfill my promise when I come to Yutun City this time. P.S. Another chapter was blocked earlier, which really caused an explosion in mentality. If you like this book, just read it every day, maybe one day it will be gone. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Asking for portraits and devouring the magic core. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Asking for portraits and devouring the magic core. The next day. The main peak of Yunlan sect features an elegant courtyard at its peak. Feng, why did you come early in the morning to find me as your teacher? Let's go into the house first. Upon hearing the sound of the morning breeze, Yunyun slowly opened her door and let him enter. Yunyun clearly had just woken up, wearing a pink nightgown that slightly covered her fair skin. As soon as I entered the room, the morning breeze smelled a strange fragrance and couldn't help but take a deep breath. This is the unique body fragrance from Yunyun. Following Yunyun into the room and sitting down, Chenfeng couldn't help but glance at his teacher. The pajamas on Yun-Yun's body were a bit loose, swaying slightly as she walked, and the neck became increasingly slender and elegant. The pure amber necklace exuded a slight luster on her fair skin without any impurities. Chenfeng quickly found a seat to sit down, lowered his head, legs together, and made a well-behaved appearance. But in my heart, I cursed inwardly. Ever since I activated this dragon-elephant body, I feel like I've been brained by a sperm. My previous self was definitely not like this, it must be due to the body of a dragon and elephant. This is my own teacher. How could he come up with such thoughts? Feng, haven't you answered me yet? Is there anything I can do to find you as a teacher? Yun-Yun brought a plate of pastries on the table and said to the morning breeze, I haven't had breakfast yet. Let's have some at my master's place. This is the osmanthus cake that I personally made. Upon hearing this, Chenfeng reached out and picked up a piece of osmanthus cake to take a bite. After the palpitations in his heart calmed down a bit, he dared to look up at Yun-Yun in front of him and say, Teacher, do you have a magic core here? Magic core? What do you want magic core to do? Yun-Yun sat slowly across from Chenfeng, with the collar of her pajamas slightly open. Startled, Chenfeng quickly glanced at her and then slowly lowered her head. Can't see, can't see. If we continue to watch, something will happen sooner or later. Teacher, I want to find senior brother Lu to refine some pills, but I almost got the magic core. The Lu senior brother mentioned by Chenfeng refers to Lu Ling, the legitimate disciple of the Dan King Guha. Yun-Yun nodded and then thought for a moment. She took out a few magic cores from the ring and slowly placed them on the table. I don't have many magic cores on me, are these enough? If it's not enough, I'll go get some for you, master. For Chenfeng, a proud disciple, Yun-Yun has always been doting on and almost always responding to every request. As long as Chenfeng's requirements are not too excessive, he will basically meet his needs. These are already enough. Chenfeng glanced at Yun-Yun and found that the magic cores he had taken out were basically at least level 3, level 4, and even a few level 5, which were enough for him to use. That disciple has left first. Taking another glance, Chenfeng bid farewell. What's the rush? I can't finish eating even more osmanthus cake as a teacher. Yun-Yun picked up a piece of osmanthus cake and handed it to Chenfeng. As she lifted her arm, her collar opened once again. Well, thank you, teacher. The morning breeze made her scalp tingle, so she quickly took the osmanthus cake and turned her gaze elsewhere. Hey, teacher, who drew this painting for you? Suddenly, Chenfeng's gaze stopped at a portrait painting on the wall. The characters in the painting are exactly Yun-Yun, and the painter's painting skills are superb, lifelike. Oh, this was specially painted by the famous painter Hua Ling in the imperial capital. Yun-Yun glanced at the painting on the wall and casually said. After hesitating for a moment, Chenfeng spoke up and said, Teacher, can you give this painting to my disciple? What do you want this painting for? Upon hearing this, Yun-Yun was taken aback and gave a strange glance at the morning breeze. The teacher was unaware, but the disciple felt that he had been unable to concentrate on practicing martial arts in recent days. After reflection, he realized that it was due to the lack of the teacher's supervision on the side, which led to some slackness. But the teacher is the head of a sect and cannot stay by the disciple's side all day long, so the disciple wants to take this painting back and hang it on the wall. This way, it is equivalent to the teacher being by the disciple's side all the time, and the disciple should be able to focus on cultivation. Chenfeng slowly explained himself. I see. Upon hearing the words of Chenfeng, Yun-Yun was taken aback. She didn't expect herself to be so important in Feng's mind. She looked at the morning breeze with some relief, her red lips slightly lifted and said, It's rare that Feng heir can understand your own shortcomings. Since that's the case, you can take this painting. Thank you very much, teacher, then disciple. The morning breeze stood up and collected the paintings on the wall into its own small world. Teacher, I'm leaving now. Subsequently, Chenfeng turned around and bid farewell to Yun. At this moment, he is standing, while Yun is still sitting there. He looked over and directly glanced at the whole picture, which frightened him. He quickly turned around and left Yun's room in a somewhat embarrassed state. Feng Er, this child is always so restless and restless. Watching the morning breeze leave without even closing the door, Yun shook her head and stood up to close the door. Who? The teacher is truly the master of the school, with strong capital. After returning to his room, the morning breeze took a deep breath and calmed down the restlessness in his heart. Subsequently, he took out the magic core and portrait he had just obtained from Yun. With the supervision of my teacher, I will definitely be able to focus on my cultivation in the future. After hanging the portrait by his bedside, Chenfeng admired it for a moment, nodded in satisfaction, and then turned his gaze to those few magic cores. After hesitating for a moment, Chenfeng picked up a third-order magic core. He asked Yun for the magic core, naturally not to find Lu Ling to refine any pills. Due to Nalan Yanran's reasons, their relationship has never been good. How could he find an old man to refine pills? With my current cultivation level, the third-level magic core is already sufficient. The morning wind requests the magic core, naturally for the purpose of practicing the swallowing yuan technique. The swallowing element technique can devour all energy bodies in the world, and this magic core contains extremely huge energy, which it can naturally devour as well. As the legitimate disciple of the Meitel family, Chenfeng naturally cannot afford to buy a few magic cores. The main reason is that this magic core has no other use except for refining medicine, and it is not necessary for the morning breeze to wear it. Sitting down on the bed, the morning breeze gripped the third-order magic core with both palms, then gathered his mind and began practicing the swallowing yuan technique. Magic core is an energy crystal core within the body of Warcraft. It is filled with extremely violent energy from heaven and earth. And for this kind of violent energy, even a Do Wang dare not take the risk of exploding and forcefully inhale it. However, the swallowing yuan technique, as a high-level technique of the heavenly level, can directly devour the demon core. As the swallowing yuan technique was activated, an inexplicable devouring force surged out of the palm of the morning wind, enveloping the magic core in his hand. Soon, a pure energy was engulfed and carried into the body of the morning wind. Feeling this power entering the body, the morning breeze tries to maintain a steady breathing and greedily absorbs this energy. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Breakthrough Fighter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Breakthrough Fighter. In the room, Morning Wind sat on the bed, folding his palms and sandwiched a third-level magic core in the middle. With the operation of the swallowing yuan technique, a devouring force surged out of his palm, crazily absorbing the energy from the magic core, and then transforming it into fighting spirit and pouring into the body of the morning wind. As time passes, the energy in the magic core is constantly being consumed by the morning wind. Although the energy in the magic core is extremely chaotic, recklessly ingesting it into the body poses a risk of exploding. But under the suppression of the swallowing yuan technique, this energy entered Chenfeng's body and had become extremely peaceful, easily transformed into fighting energy by him. This energy wanders between the four limbs of the morning wind and finally returns to the dantian. Focusing on practicing the swallowing yuan technique, the morning breeze at this moment has completely forgotten the existence of external objects. This is the character of Chenfeng. Once he is focused on something, he will fully immerse himself in it. He was able to reach the realm of a 9-star fighter at the age of 15, not only due to his extraordinary talent, but also due to the efforts of Chenfeng. In his past life, he spent 3 days and 3 nights frantically scrolling through a dungeon in order to reveal a piece of equipment, only to give up when that piece of equipment was revealed. In a blink of time, as the morning breeze continued to devour the energy in the magic core, it was unknowingly evening. Bang! At this moment, a muffled sound suddenly came from within the morning breeze's body. In the next moment, the aura on the Morning Breeze surged. Morning Breeze slowly opened her eyes, her mind sensing her cultivation, and a faint smile gradually appeared at the corner of her mouth. Unexpectedly, in just one day, he broke through from the 9-star Do realm to the Dosha realm. You should know that half a month ago, the Morning Breeze broke through to the realm of the 9-star fighter not long ago. During this period, he stabilized his realm. But after only half a month, he surprisingly made another breakthrough and was directly promoted to the realm of Dosha. It has to be said that this swallowing yuan technique is truly a heavenly level advanced skill. Relying on devouring energy bodies to improve cultivation is like cheating. The Morning Breeze stood up, feeling the majestic fighting spirit in his body at this moment, and feeling a little excited in his heart. Is this the power that belongs to the realm of Dosha? Becoming a Dosha also means that Chenfeng has detached from the mainstream level. Although the level of Dosha can still be considered as a lower class on the mainland, it is undoubtedly much stronger and more advanced than the bottom-ranked Dosha. And most importantly, the Morning Breeze is not yet 16 years old, and there is still plenty of time for struggle. Having a multi-child and multi-blessing system, as long as he works hard, his growth rate will become faster in the future. Standing in place, the Morning Breeze suddenly extended its right palm and gave it a strong grip. Suddenly, a silver fighting spirit appeared on the surface of the body. After the fighting spirit emerged, it suddenly converged again. In an instant, it slowly adhered to the outside of the Morning Breeze clothes, as if forming a layer of fighting spirit defense. Perhaps it is because the fighting spirit attribute of the morning wind is thunder, and this silver fighting spirit is also mixed with lightning flashes. Duki Shai is a signature skill of a Dosha powerhouse and also the most practical skill. It greatly increases one's own speed, strength, and defense, and has extremely strong combat assistance functions. Looking at the silver combative veil on his body, Chenfeng felt happy in his heart, and then suddenly swung a few punches into the air, making a tiger full of power. After activating the body of the dragon elephant, the physical strength of the morning wind can be said to have greatly improved. Although it was just a few punches, it was accompanied by the piercing sound of breaking the wind. After waving a few fists fiercely, the Morning Breeze finally stopped. For some reason, he felt a bit annoyed in his heart. Since activating the body of the dragon and elephant, he always felt like he was full of strength, but had nowhere to vent, and his heart became increasingly restless. Moreover, the scene of Nalan Yanran staying here overnight always flashed through his mind. Ah, if only Yanran could come over. Since being caught by Yun on the spot last time, Nalan Yanran has never been to Chenfeng's place again. As the young lady of the Nalan family, Nalan Yanran naturally has her own reserve. Last time, I was moved in my heart and blinded by happiness. Under the sweet shell of the Morning Breeze, I lost my body in a daze. Later, the Morning Breeze called for her to come over, but Nalan Yanran refused. Of course, Nalan Yanran refused to come to Chenfeng, and there was also a reason why Yun had warned. When I was caught by Yun, I once warned Nalan Yanran not to see each other frequently in the future. Obviously, Nalan Yanran listened to Yun's words. Nalan Yanran has always been very obedient to her teacher. If it weren't for Yun's words, Nalan Yanran might not have taken the initiative to come to Chenfeng. At least it's impossible to come over in the short term. As for the active cooperation that night, at most it was the final madness, completely satisfying. Thinking of this, Chenfeng's heart became increasingly restless. That kind of thing, why don't you keep doing it? But once it starts, it becomes addictive, making people unable to stop eating it. Now let the morning wind quit, it's really killing him. At this moment, Chenfeng suddenly thought of something and turned his gaze to the portrait by his bedside. The cloud rhyme on the portrait is lifelike and lifelike, revealing a brilliant smile to oneself at this moment. In an instant, Chenfeng felt an increasing restlessness in his heart. No, if it continues like this, I'm afraid I'll be in danger of going crazy. Shaking his head, Chenfeng forced himself not to think about what happened that day. You must calm down, otherwise you won't be able to concentrate on cultivation. Morning Breeze looked at Yun Yun's stunning face in the portrait and gradually had thoughts. Why not practice Thunderbolt Spear in my mind? Maybe it can distract my attention and stop me from daydreaming. Subsequently, Chenfeng directly practiced the various moves of Thunderbolt Spear in his mind. Gun firing, direct pounding, hu. After a moment, the Morning Breeze breathed a sigh of relief and a relieved expression appeared on its face. This method is indeed effective. After practicing Thunderbolt Spear for half an hour, he has now fully relaxed and won't have any more wild thoughts in his mind. Teacher, only by your supervision beside me can I focus on my cultivation. Chenfeng glanced at the portrait in front of him, then turned around and left the door. He is a person who loves cleanliness. After practicing for a whole day, he also had some strange odors on his body, feeling uncomfortable all over and needing to take a shower. After a moment, Chenfeng changed into a new outfit and returned to the room. At this moment, he felt comfortable all over and there was no more restlessness in his heart. Practicing in this state is definitely twice the result with half the effort. Chenfeng loaded the previously unabsorbed magic core into his palm, sat cross-legged on the bed, and soon entered the cultivation state again. P.S. Seeking collections, seeking tickets. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Teacher, I can't help it anymore. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Teacher, I can't help it anymore. Time flies, 7 days have passed. In the room, Morning Wind sat on a soft couch, holding a third-order magic core tightly in his hand, and strands of energy were continuously absorbed into his body. At this moment, the magic core in his hand has shrunk by a large circle. This is already the second third-order magic core swallowed by the Morning Wind. Bang! At this moment, a muffled sound came from within the Morning Breeze's body, followed by a sudden surge in breath. 3-star dosher. At this moment, the Morning Breeze has clearly broken through to the realm of a 3-star master. The Morning Breeze slowly opened its eyes, with excitement flickering in its pitch-black eyes. If it continues like this, I'm afraid it won't be long before I can break through to the realm of the Great Do Master. In 7 days, I broke through 2 small realms in a row. If such cultivation speed were to be spread, it would surely be shocking to hear. Chenfeng stood up and glanced at the Yun Yun portrait on the bedside, immediately showing respect. Without the supervision of the teacher, he would not have such a progress in cultivation. During these 7 days, under the supervision of Yun Yun's portrait, he no longer had the same passion in his heart. He only wanted to practice marksmanship and practice the swallowing yuan technique. Therefore, Chenfeng looked at the Yun Yun portrait by the bedside and respected her several times a day. After all, without careful training from teachers, he would not have achieved what he has today. The wind. At this moment, Yun Yun's voice suddenly sounded. I seem to hear the teacher's voice. Chenfeng opened her eyes and looked up at the Yun Yun portrait by the bedside. She murmured, "Is there a hallucination?" Bang bang. But after a while, someone suddenly knocked on the door of Chenfeng's room, and at the same time, Yun Yun's voice came. "Fenger, open the door quickly. It's really a teacher." The Morning Breeze was clear and I immediately got up to open the door. "Fenger, what are you doing inside the house? I called you a few times, but there was no response." Today's Yun Yun is dressed in white clothes and skirts, with 3,000 green threads as black as ink cascading down like a waterfall, hanging down to her slender waist. Her stunning appearance is like a flower fairy in the mountains who doesn't ask about common things, filled with a moving ethereal color. Her eyes flow, and all she has is that kind of light breeze that seeps into her bone marrow. "Teacher, I'm sorry, I was practicing just now and didn't react at the moment. I hope you can forgive me." Chenfeng apologized and said, "Teacher, please enter the room first." Upon hearing the morning breeze immersing herself in cultivation, Yun naturally couldn't be dissatisfied in her heart. She nodded slightly and followed the morning breeze into the room. What kind of smell is this? As soon as she entered the room, Yun's eyebrows furrowed slightly as she asked about a strange smell. Feng, haven't you taken a shower in a few days? Yun looked up and down at the morning breeze, her eyes suspicious. Upon hearing this, Chenfeng felt a bit embarrassed and shook her head, saying, "No, teacher. I take a shower every day." He loves cleanliness so much, how could he not take a shower, and he has to do it several times a day. "Teacher, I think I've been exercising in the room these past few days and sweating too much, so there's a strong smell of sweat in the room," Chenfeng quickly explained. After activating the dragon-elephant body, his body was constantly filled with power. In order to prevent himself from daydreaming, he had to do some vigorous exercise every day. For example, practicing marksmanship, sit-ups. These intense exercises naturally result in sweating profusely, and it is normal for the room to have a slight odor and sweat. Yun didn't pay too much attention to these things. She nodded slightly, then took out a jade bottle from the ring and handed it to Chenfeng, saying, "Feng, you should be about to break through to the dosha realm. This bottle of purple jade spiritual liquid should be able to help you." Yun has always been paying close attention to the cultivation of morning wind. In her mind, the morning breeze broke through the 9-star Do realm half a month ago. During this period, the realm should have been stabilized and we are preparing to sprint towards the dosha realm. Therefore, Yun promptly sent this bottle of purple jade spirit liquid, hoping to help the morning breeze. "Thank you, teacher. With this bottle of purple jade spirit liquid, I have the confidence to break through to the realm of dosha within a week." Chenfeng took the jade bottle over without refusing or revealing his true cultivation level. After all, his cultivation speed suddenly increased so fast, which is hard to explain. At first glance, this purple jade spirit liquid also belongs to the energy body, and it is also useful to him. "Feng, all you need to do is focus on cultivation, and leave the rest to me as a teacher." Upon hearing the words of the morning breeze, Yun smiled with relief. In terms of cultivation, this precious disciple has never let herself down. At this moment, Yun's eyes flowed and she suddenly saw a portrait hanging by the head of the morning breeze bed, and a strange feeling suddenly rose in her heart. "Feng, why did you hang the portrait of the teacher by your bedside?" Yun looked at the portrait by the bedside and felt a little uncomfortable. Any woman who sees her portrait hanging on a man's bedside will feel a bit uncomfortable in her heart. Although Chenfeng is his disciple, as a man, Yun still feels a bit uncomfortable in her heart. The teacher was unaware that since hanging the teacher's portrait by the bedside, the disciples' daily practice felt as if the teacher was by their side, constantly urging them, so the disciples dared not slack off at all. The morning breeze saw that Yun's face was not right, and her heart skipped a beat. She quickly explained. After hearing Chenfeng's explanation, Yun's expression slightly calmed down. Hanging the portrait by the bedside would greatly help Chenfeng's cultivation, which immediately made her no longer care. Even Yun felt a little relieved in her heart. A portrait of oneself has such a great influence on the morning breeze, which shows the extremely important position of this teacher in his mind. After all these years of cultivation, it has not been in vain. Since that's the case, if you want to hang it by the bedside, then hang it by the bedside. But don't ruin the portrait of the teacher. Yun smiled and then walked towards the edge of the morning breeze bed, taking down the portrait. "Feng, why are there some stains on this?" At this moment, Yun noticed a piece of dirt on the portrait and took out a handkerchief to wipe it, which was still sticky. "What is this thing?" Chenfeng's heart skipped a beat and quickly walked over with a smile, saying, "It should be sweat splashing on it, teacher. Let me wipe it off." Yun didn't think much and handed the portrait in her hand directly to Chenfeng. "Alright, you're good at cultivation. If you have any needs, feel free to come find me as a teacher. Yun turned around and wanted to leave. The morning breeze suddenly spoke, wait. Yun asked, Feng Er, is there anything else? Chenfeng hesitated for a moment and said, Teacher, I can't resist it anymore. Upon hearing this, Yun was confused and said. As soon as she spoke, Chenfeng also took a bold step forward and continued, Teacher, can you let junior sister come over to my place? Upon hearing the words of the morning breeze, Yun suddenly understood and remained silent in place, her face turning slightly red. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Nalan Yanran arrives. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Nalan Yanran arrives. Upon hearing Chenfeng's words, although Yun was not a newcomer, she could still be considered an adult woman, and naturally quickly understood what Chenfeng meant. A blush instantly appeared on her face, and her beautiful eyes glared at Chenfeng. This guy dares to bring up such a matter so bluntly. How thick is your face? As a woman, Yun instantly felt offended. She was about to get angry, but she quickly put it down. Yun has always been very reasonable. Looking at the morning breeze in front of her with a pale expression that seemed really unbearable, she began to reflect on herself. Did you really go too far? She has never experienced anything about men and women, so naturally she doesn't quite understand. But is it really so fascinating to do such a shameful thing? Yun expressed confusion. I have lived for so many years and have never thought of wanting a man. It's not the same yet. Is it necessary to truly experience something like that in order to appreciate its beauty? For the first time, Yun became a little curious about the relationship between men and women. After a moment of silence, Yun looked down at the silent morning breeze and slowly said, Is it really that uncomfortable? Upon hearing this, although Chenfeng felt a bit ashamed, he still nodded hard and said, It's really uncomfortable. Can you help me? Bold. Before the morning breeze could finish speaking, Yun showed a hint of anger and said, Feng, your courage is getting stronger now. Even I dare to flirt with you. Upon hearing the words of the morning breeze, Yun was really angry. Let me help you. How can I help you? The embarrassing scene she encountered that day flashed through Yun's mind in an instant. For a moment, my heart was in turmoil. Previously, the words of the morning breeze made her curious about matters between men and women. But it's difficult for her to take that step if she really wants to implement it. Otherwise, for so many years, she wouldn't have stayed as safe as Jade and been alone. She stared at the morning breeze with beautiful eyes. If it weren't for this kid being her precious disciple, teasing her like this would have already been slapped to death by her. How can the majesty of the leader of Yunlan sect, who fights against the emperor, be trampled upon? Seeing Yun suddenly turn his face, Chenfeng was also taken aback. Then he quickly reacted and a bitter smile appeared on his face, saying, I didn't mean that. I never offended your idea. I was interrupted by you before I could speak. Looking at Yun with an angry expression, Chenfeng quickly explained, I wanted to ask for your help and let my junior sister come over. There was absolutely no intention of teasing you. Upon hearing the words of the morning breeze, Yun's expression froze and she felt extremely embarrassed. Later, she glared at Chenfeng and said, Next time, speak clearly to avoid misunderstandings. Okay, definitely next time. The morning breeze immediately responded, but in his heart, he was filled with resentment. It was clearly you who forcefully interjected. Now I blame myself instead. Alright, focus on practicing at home. If you have any needs, come to me and I'll leave first. Thinking of the awkward scene just now, Yun couldn't stay any longer and quickly suggested leaving. That junior sister's place. Chenfeng pursued. I will go there, but whether I am willing to come or not depends on Yanran's own wishes. I won't force it. Looking at the eager morning breeze on his face, Yun gave him a fierce glare and then left somewhat embarrassed. She's a woman. Is it really good that this kid always brings up this topic to himself? Yun was also a bit flustered in her heart, but in front of her disciple, she still pretended to be calm. This kid speaks without regard for occasion. Can I help with such a thing? Outside the yard, Yun's face was scorching hot, and she felt a bit embarrassed and distressed. She regretted it a bit. She shouldn't have intervened in such a thing in the first place. After all, she doesn't understand anything about men and women herself. Well, let's go to Yanran's place. Thinking of the uncomfortable appearance of the morning breeze just now, Yun also thought of the stains on the portrait and the strange smell in the room. Although she doesn't understand these, she has heard some of them to some extent. This flashed a picture in her mind that made her afraid to continue thinking. No, this kid doesn't have the courage yet. Yun shook her head and forced herself not to think about these things. She thinks she is quite familiar with the morning breeze. From past performance, Chenfeng is definitely not such a person. However, this kid has indeed undergone significant changes recently, especially since the last incident. Thinking of the recent strange performance of the morning breeze, Yun's face showed a worried expression. Is it really because I am pushing too hard, making Fenger feel uncomfortable? Well, just help him this time. Yun shook her head and walked away from the yard towards Nalan Yanran's residence. Just, how should I talk to that girl Yanran about this kind of thing? Recklessness, too recklessness. After Yun left, Chenfeng recalled the request he had just made, and even though he had thick skin, he couldn't help but feel a bit embarrassed. How could I feel embarrassed to ask such a request to her? Yun shouldn't be dissatisfied with herself in her heart, right? It's really a bad thing. However, although there is some regret in my heart, the morning breeze cannot help but have some expectations. To Chenfeng's surprise, Yun agreed to this unreasonable request. While the morning breeze's heart was unbelievable, it was also full of emotion. Yun is really good to herself. Even such an excessive request can be agreed to. When you become strong, you must repay her well. Chenfeng remembers that in the original work, Yun met Xiao Yan in the Warcraft mountain range and then fell in love with him. In the end, Xiao Yan not only killed his mentor Yunshan in front of her, but also disbanded the entire Yunlan sect. The two of them were never together until the end, and Yun lived a lonely and helpless life. Since I have traveled through it myself, the morning breeze will naturally not let Yun repeat the same mistake. At least, he can guarantee that Yun will not be alone and helpless in the future. She will live a fulfilling life every day and never feel empty. After Yun left, Chenfeng stayed in his room, waiting for Nalan Yanran's arrival. This time, he is very patient. In a blink of time, it was evening and the sky was gradually getting dark. Ah, it seems that Yanran won't come tonight. Just as Chenfeng was feeling disappointed, a figure in white suddenly pushed open the door and rushed towards Chenfeng. As the morning breeze fixed its gaze, it was Nalan Yanran, who had been missing for a few days. He was overjoyed in his heart and said, "Yanran, have you finally figured it out?" End of this chapter.